So we've already had a video about the story of the MTHFR. So why are we going back to sort of revisit MTHFR? Well, let me remind you a little bit of some of the details of that story. If you want, go back and watch that video. It was in our nucleic acids learning unit way back in Biochem 1. But one of the things that we talked about was the importance of 5-methylfolate. So let me step back just for a second. Remember that MTHFR is an important enzyme that's necessary for the conversion of folic acid, which is often how vitamin B9 is added to either multivitamins or to food products. Folic acid ultimately needs to be made into 5-methylfolate, which is the bioactive form. MTHFR is an important enzyme that is necessary for that conversion process. So people who are MTHFR deficient because of a SNP are going to pinch the pathway essentially at this point, okay? So that means you're going to have lower levels of 5-methylfolate, and that's important because 5-methylfolate is an important methylating agent. So the story that we're going to sort of talk about here is its connection to methionine metabolism. Okay, so here, this is sort of the story that we're going to be talking about here. We're going to be talking about how 5-methylfolate is really important for the conversion of homocysteine into methionine. Okay, so we're going to be talking about these conversions on the next slide here, much more slowly drawing them out. Okay, but again, if you do not have sufficient levels of 5-methylfolate because you are MTHFR deficient, that means you are going to have elevated levels of homocysteine and insufficient levels of methionine. Okay, so high levels of homocysteine are known to increase your cardiovascular disease risk. So we're going to kind of tie this all together as we connect it to methionine metabolism. So that's what we're going to see on the next slide here. So just highlighting some of those important pieces that we had from that last slide, okay? MTHFR is responsible for producing 5-methylfolate. Okay, so 5-methylfolate is the biologically active form of vitamin B9, folic acid, and it is critical as a methyl transfer agent. Okay, so we're going to have a methyl transfer agent that we're going to need to have here. So I'm going to sort of draw a round the block, if you will, talking about these different pieces. So let's start with the structure of methionine. So drawing methionine as an amino acid. Right there we've got our basic sort of amino acid backbone, and then we're going to have a methyl ether. Right, that's what we have. It's basically a thioether, so it's a methyl thioether, okay? And this is the methyl group that we're really importantly sort of talking about, okay? So I'm going to actually start by drawing up from here, and I'm going to draw the structure of homocysteine. Okay, so homocysteine is going to look like this. Essentially, it is the demethylated version of methionine. So I'm going to move this down, just give myself a little bit of room here. So basically, 5-methylfolate is what is responsible for transferring its methyl group onto that thiol group to generate that methyl thioether methionine. So this is homocysteine, just a little bit of interesting nomenclature to think about here. This is called homocysteine because it is a homolog of cysteine. It basically has one additional CH2 group compared to cysteine. So it has one additional CH2 group. If we were to draw the amino acid cysteine, it basically would be missing this guy. Okay, so it's just a single methylene group. So that's why it's called homocysteine. It basically looks the same, so it's a homolog of it. Again, just drawing here, just so we have it. Here is the structure of cysteine. Right, here's another amino acid. Here is cysteine. Right, so it's a homolog of it and having that additional methylene group. Okay, so 5-methylfolate is essential for producing methionine. Okay, so if we are MTHFR deficient, we are pinching the pathway here because we don't have sufficient levels of 5-methylfolate. That means we are going to be increasing our levels of homocysteine. So we are going to be increasing these levels, and that leads to increased cardiovascular disease risk. Okay? Homocysteine is an inflammatory marker, and so that increases your risk for cardiovascular disease. So not only that, when we are pinching our pathway with MTHFR deficiency and we're not having sufficient levels of methylfolate, that also means that we have insufficient levels of methionine. So methionine is important because methionine is used to make SAM. So SAM is S-adenosyl methionine. So S-adenosyl methionine. And really all that we're doing is that adenosyl group is just basically, adenosine. It's that amino or that nucleobase that we're basically just adding there. So that's what that A is. And why is this important? Okay, well, SAM is known to contribute to about 40 different reactions that require methylation. So even though we've said 5-methylfolate is important for biological methylating, well, it's not necessarily because it's being used directly like it is here, but sometimes it's making something else that is necessary to be used as a methylating agent. So about 40 known reactions use SAM as a methylating or plus methyl group agent. So again, methionine is essentially going to be transferring that methyl group because we're having S-adenosyl methionine. So once you have SAM sort of do its methylating job, you are going to be creating S-adenosyl homocysteine. So S-adenosyl homocysteine, and you can use a hydrolysis reaction to basically liberate off the adenosyl group, and then you're back with homocysteine. Okay, so sort of this around the block, but identifying that methionine is a really important precursor, okay, to making another important biological methylating agent. So tying in, again, MTHFR deficiency is going to leave you deficient in 5-methylfolate, which ultimately will leave you deficient in SAM, which means you're not going to be able to be effective in doing these biological methylating agent reactions.